Hey guys, what's going on? Today we have another reaction video to a supposed rumor that has just surfaced, and you may have heard me and Josh talk about it last night on Nerd Theory, which was a 6-hour stream. Thanks to everyone who showed up, but if you just want the concise version, this video is probably going to be like 5 minutes long, or whatever. So let's get to it, and then I can give my thoughts on it. Before we do though, I will say that I'm glad Maul is not the main villain of this show, because it doesn't really make any sense. Let's read what it's all about, and then I'll give you my take. So the article says, while the fall of Anakin Skywalker might have the greatest impact on Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Star Wars films, the supplemental outings have firmly placed Maul as his greatest rival. This report comes from The Hollywood Reporter, which has sources telling them that Maul was meant to return as a key player in the series with Ray Park, the actor who portrayed the character in 1999's The Phantom Menace, slated to reprise his role. The series was paused in January 2020 after Lucasfilm was apparently unhappy with the script penned by Hossein Amini. Sources tell THR that the original version of the story saw Kenobi coming out of hiding to protect a young Luke Skywalker, with Maul being one of the villains set to pursue the pair. It is also said that the since announced return of Vader was not in this version of the script. Maul didn't find out about Kenobi until Rebels, and then when he did, he went on a search for him and found him, and then died. So it wouldn't really make sense unless they want to retcon that, which they can do. The report says that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau looked over this version of the script and told Amini and series showrunner Deborah Chow to go bigger, voicing their concerns that the story of an aged Kenobi protecting a young Luke would be too similar to the relationship between Din and Grogu's relationship in The Mandalorian, which is true. It would be literally the same thing, just with different characters. Eventually, these concerns made their way to Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy, who put the whole project on hold. Amini left the project with Joby Harold being brought on as the writer. After the overhaul, it is said that it was Filoni that was able to work out a way to get Vader to play a key role in the story with the Grand Inquisitor, a character that was present throughout Star Wars Rebels and featured prominently in the series' first trailer, playing key roles as antagonists. So this definitely makes more sense. There's nobody in the galaxy who wants Kenobi dead more than Vader, and obviously a close second is Maul. The relationship that Kenobi and Anakin had is, it transcends any other character in Star Wars, I think. And the fact that it ended so poorly for Anakin, not just, his own life being taken from him and his body, but also his wife. The last time he saw his wife was with Obi-Wan on Mustafar, and when he woke up as a machined man, half machine, Padme was dead. So he blames Obi-Wan for whatever happened to her because she was alive before he fought Obi-Wan, or at least that's what he remembers. Since his debut in '99, Maul has always stuck with fans as one of the coolest characters presented in the Star Wars canon. From his distinct look to his double-sided lightsaber, he was someone who stood out in the prequel trilogy and received even greater development in the years to follow, which is true. I remember, did you guys ever have that t-shirt, that Maul t-shirt with, it was like 3D, like you could touch and feel parts of the shirt that made up his face, and it was a black shirt, and it was just red bits and his horns, and it was pretty sweet. And then they would kind of break off, and anyways, but I remember that shirt very vividly. And this was all released even before the movie came out. George was very big on promoting merch and toys and stuff, so I was already hyped up to see Maul in the show, in the movie, before 1999 even hit. I think it was in 1998 when all the buzz was being created around it and the promos and stuff like that. So I was ready to go, man. Everyone was extremely excited for Maul. The only Sith Lords that we have seen are Vader and Sidious, and the only other person with a red lightsaber that we had seen at that time in Star Wars history was Maul. It was a very exciting moment, and he was a fan favorite immediately. He made his official return to the franchise's Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, hell-bent on getting revenge on Kenobi for what happened at the end of The Phantom Menace. He returned in the sequel series Star Wars Rebels and made a cameo in Solo, again being reprised by Ray Park, with Clone Wars voice Sam Witwer. Obi-Wan set to release May 25th, 2022, the 45th anniversary of the character's first appearance in the original 1977 Star Wars film. So for me, this is a W take. This is a big, good move. I don't think it would have been a great show if Maul was the main villain and it was just basically Maul trying to hunt down Kenobi. It would retcon Rebels, which I liked, and I know a lot of people liked. Would I be really butthurt over it if it retconned Rebels? No, I wouldn't. But that being said, I still would find it confusing. It's so what era does this take place in? I guess this would have to take place perhaps sometime during Rebels, in fact. So it can't be 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. It's got to be much later on, and, Ewan would be playing a much older Alec Guinness, basically very close to A New Hope, which would cause a lot of inconsistencies, I feel like, even for us, because we know, well, they just look totally different at this point. But the 10-year gap, you can still kind of be like, okay, well, maybe something happened to him in those 10 years. But as for Maul being the one to find Kenobi, it's like, that wouldn't pan out because Vader would never let somebody else find Kenobi. It just wouldn't happen. I mean, if anyone is going to find Kenobi, it's going to be Vader. And he knows of all the possible places that Kenobi could be, including he would definitely think of his home world of Tatooine because, well, he knows that his family is there, right? The Lars, they're there. Also, it would be kind of weird because, well, then Vader would know that there was a child along that. He has a child, that Luke is alive, and that wouldn't go over too well, and that would definitely retcon the original trilogy. So none of that would really make sense. I don't know how they would make sense of that. For Maul coming back into the picture, believe me, I would love to see Maul. I just don't feel like it would really evolve the story all that much. It would just be kind of like a cat and mouse sort of game where Kenobi's stuck on Tatooine, Maul's just making his way through the galaxy. It would essentially be a Maul show, I feel like, and we'd get bits of Obi-Wan on Tatooine taking care of Luke, but the rest of it would be Maul probably circumventing the galaxy, trying to go through different planets and following a breadcrumb trail to get to Kenobi, and maybe he'll go through different Jedi as well who survive and cut them down. It would be a really cool show, but it just wouldn't be as good as I think what we're getting, which is the changed plot line of Vader and the Inquisitors trying to find Kenobi and surviving Jedi of Order 66. So I'm very excited for what Kenobi will bring us. So far, the plot has me extremely captivated. It's a very simple plot. It's nothing extravagant. It's nothing that you have to really like try to figure out, like, okay, well, like put the pieces together. It's just like dudes trying to find another dude who is hiding somewhere in the galaxy. That's it. That's all. That's literally the premise of the story. As if you want to go in the nitty-gritties, Vader kind of trained the Inquisitors. They're ordered by Sidious. Vader hates them. He thinks that they're a waste of time and that they're weak. And he just basically makes a mockery out of them, which I think will be fun to see as well. But as for the show itself, I'm extremely pumped for it. I'm glad they didn't put Maul in there, as I don't feel he has any real need to be in the show. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't think Maul needs to be in this show at all. If they do put him in there, it wouldn't really make sense. But if they really want to, I mean, I'm not opposed to it for sure. It would just have to be a bit of a segue. Like, it would have to be showing Maul completely on his own, irrelevant from the storyline, irrelevant from the Empire, because he's doing his own thing right now. You know, he's building Crimson Dawn. He's working in the shadows. And what we know of him right now is pretty much it. So they could fill in whatever they want, but it just wouldn't make much sense for the Empire to hire Maul, because Vader, first of all, would find out eventually, and he wouldn't let that happen. 2 more months and 10 days. 2 months and 10 days. Not bad. That's 70 days left. It's going to fly by real quick. So I hope you enjoyed this video and my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. If you would have Maul in the show, how would you have him in the show? And why would you have him in the show? You know, there just needs to be a reason. So if they want to do a jump into like a flashback scene, or that's fine. Or if they want to do a jump into the future of Maul and Kenobi at the very end of Maul's life, yeah, that could work too. But I would rather, you know, build up to that moment in other shows and then eventually have them meet. And that could be the end, the twin sons. Thanks for watching today's vid. Catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.